Hey, well, I was trying to come to you live tonight, but I am traveling and unable to do a live from my mobile devices. So I am recording this and we'll play it back, but I really wanted to get this recorded because it is just appropriate that I'm sitting on the side of the interstate. Well, actually, I'm sitting in a rest area, so don't be concerned about my safety. I'm sitting in a rest area, but it's on the side of the interstate. And I'm talking about the Carlee Russell case this evening. So I'm only going to take a few minutes to talk about it because I am on the road and don't want to spend a whole lot of time here. But I did want to speak just briefly about the Carlee Russell case. And if you remember, the Carlee Russell case is the young woman out of Hoover, Alabama, which is, if you're not familiar with Hoover, Hoover is on the suburbs. It's a suburb of Birmingham. But she said that she called into the police. She said there was a child on the side of the road and she was stopping to help the child. And then the phone line, they got the phone, 911 got off the phone with her. She called a friend, relative, something, and then the phone went dead. So there was a manhunt for, not a manhunt, but there was a search for her for a couple of days. And then she returned home on her own. And it came out that the whole thing was a hoax, that she really wasn't kidnapped. But it had everyone worried and concerned about her for several days. So that happened this summer. I can't remember, in June or July of this summer. I don't remember the exact dates. And so there is something that happened maybe yesterday. I'm sorry, I've been really busy, so I'm trying to keep up. But I think it happened yesterday that she had her trial at court. So I'm going to talk about that. But first of all, let me just introduce myself to you. I'm Tanya Hendricks. I'm an estate planning lawyer in Huntsville, Alabama. But why am I talking about a criminal case that has nothing to do with estate planning? Well, I spent years as a prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney. And these are the kind of cases that are just fun to talk about, fun to kind of dive into and dissect a little bit and give my perspective on it. Because again, I've been a prosecutor and defense attorney, and I know a little bit about kind of the behind the scenes stuff. So, and just appropriately enough, this evening I'm coming to you from the side of the interstate. So just as Carlee Russell started her whole saga on the side of the interstate, here I am on the side of the interstate recording this video for you. And I'm not alone. I have my cute little dog here. Let's see if I can get her to raise her head and say hello to you. She is not at all interested in being on YouTube Live because you can't actually pet her, and that's what she wants, is to be petted. But that's my little traveling companion today. Isn't she cute? So I should get some likes just because of my little Sinatra. But anyway, so Carlee Russell was in court in Hoover Municipal Court yesterday. She was charged for 2 misdemeanor offenses for giving false information or making a false police report. So she called the police and said that there was this situation happening with this kid on this baby on the side of the road. And so that started the whole saga. And so she made a false report. So she was charged with 2 misdemeanor offenses. And a misdemeanor is just an offense that you're not going to be punished for more than a year. That's basically what a misdemeanor offense is. And municipal courts across the country, or I'll just say in Alabama because that's where we are, municipal courts in Alabama are typically associated with a particular municipality, a town, a city, and their jurisdiction is, for most offenses, the jurisdiction is up to 6 months in their city jail. There are some crimes that, like a DUI, that they can do more than that, but typically their criminal offenses in Alabama city courts, municipal courts, is up to 6 months in the county jail. That's the maximum for a misdemeanor offense for most situations in municipal courts. So she was charged. She had 2 misdemeanor offenses, and what they ended up doing in court, and there was, I think part of the problem with it not being expressed very well in the news is that they just maybe don't understand what's happening. So there are a lot of times in municipal court that a defendant, a person accused of a crime, a defendant, will do what's called a stipulation and appeal. And I haven't seen this called that, but I think based on the way it's been described in the news, I think that's exactly what happened. And as a defense attorney who has done these types of cases in municipal court, I think that's exactly what happened. So essentially, when you're a defendant in a municipal court and you're in a situation where the prosecution cannot really give you a great deal, they can't really give you a really sweetheart of a deal, then, and you know you're going to get convicted. I mean, you know, a lot of times in municipal courts, you're going to get convicted of your offense. And so when you're in that situation, one, you pretty much know you're going to get convicted, and two, the prosecution is not giving you a very good deal, not giving you a good offer, then you will do what's called the stipulate and appeal. And what that means is you stipulate that the city can prove a prima facie case that you are guilty. So that's saying the city has enough evidence to prove you guilty of the offense they have charged you with. But you're appealing it. You're going to appeal the case up to circuit court and ask for a jury trial, or maybe not, but you have the chance when you go to circuit court, which is the court above municipal court, to ask for a jury trial. So the reason you may want to do that, as I stated, is the prosecution's not giving you a good deal in municipal court. You know, the judge is going to convict you. And why, if you know that it's kind of a foregone conclusion you'll get convicted, it's really not much of a benefit to the defendant, or it could be a benefit to the defendant to have a trial, because then you can get the witnesses and the law enforcement witnesses, their statements and testimony under oath. But for her, she'd probably need to testify, even though she has a right not to. She'd probably want to testify in this case. And her attorneys certainly don't want to put her in a situation where she is giving testimony if she's going to appeal, which she's going to have to appeal it. So if she had a trial and got convicted, she would appeal it anyway. So this just kind of takes out that trial element. It saves her some attorney's fees. It keeps her from testifying at this level and having her testimony recorded, which could then be dissected by a prosecution on an appeal. So this just kind of saves a step. And what's going to happen if it didn't happen today is, so she went in yesterday and said, Judge, the city can prove a prima facie case against me. I plead, I'm stipulating to that. It's not really a guilty plea, but kind of is. It's a quasi plea. But she says that, the judge says, okay, I'm finding you guilty, I'm convicting you of this, and you have 14 days to appeal. And 14 days is the standard time for a municipal court appeal. So she's got 14 days to appeal. She has to what's called perfect that appeal, which means she has to post that bond. So once she posts the bond, and by the way, the judge will sentence her to something, usually the max. I mean, when you do it, most of the cases where I've had where they've done a stipulation and appeal, the judge sentenced them to the max. And so I think that's what the judge did here. The judge sentenced her to 6 months on each offense, and then ran those consecutive, which kind of they stacked them, so it would be 1 year in the city jail. And so that's typically what happens when somebody does stipulation appeal. So then the judge says, okay, your appeal bond is X amount, and it's generally the cost of fines, court costs, fines, restitution, and double that. That's generally what I've seen in the past. And then once she posts that bond, then she's on appeal. The case goes up to circuit court, and a circuit court judge, she can ask for a jury trial, or she can waive her right to a jury trial and have a jury decide whether or not she's guilty. Now, she may also, and her attorneys may also be hoping that by the time it gets to circuit court, there's not as much media attention, so there's not as much public involvement and interest in the case, so that she can get a better offer from the city, because that's generally what I've done as a defense attorney is I knew that I could get a better offer on appeal, because it's a case that the prosecution knows they can win in municipal court. They don't really like the case, and they know they're not going to win it, or have less of a chance of winning it in circuit court. So when we get to circuit court, they'll generally make a much better offer, sometimes even dismissing a case, where they can never do that at municipal court level. So her attorneys are probably thinking that she might get a better deal in circuit court than she could have gotten in municipal court, and they could just be biding time. But this is far from over for Carlee Russell. She still has a ways to go, and I'll be interested to see how it eventually plays out. If one thing she could do is dismiss her appeal. If she doesn't get a better deal on appeal in circuit court, she could dismiss it, and then it would go back to municipal court, and whatever she was sentenced to in municipal court is what she does. So there are several things that could happen. I'm interested. She's got a great defense lawyer. I know one of them. I don't know both of them, but I know one of them. She has a really great defense lawyer. So I'm sure things are going to work out okay for her. But here's the thing. I don't know why she did what she did. Her attorney has admitted that she faked it, that it was all a hoax. I've told you before that I have searched for missing people, missing children. The first search I went on was for an infant. And so when you are searching for a missing person, it's a very surreal thing, because you don't know what condition you're going to find the body if you find the body. I am really ticked off that she thought that this was an appropriate thing to do. Having worked with so many families whose children have either never been found or were found deceased, it is irritating, to say the least, that someone would use this as a hoax for whatever reason, whether it's trying to get a boyfriend's affection, whatever it was. I don't know. Just read the speculation like all of you. It's really frustrating and aggravating, because there are so many children who are missing. There's so many adults who are missing, who, their parents go to bed every night wondering what's going on with their child. Is their child even still alive? And here's this young lady who's got a whole search team, law enforcement agencies, people that are coming to her aid, to her family's aid, to help them during this period of time. The hell that she put her family through. That's between them. But I have talked to moms the day their child disappeared. I know the sound and the voice of a mom whose daughter, she doesn't know what happened to. And I'm sure Miss Russell does not understand, and maybe she does at this point, the hell that she put her family through, not knowing where she was. I would really hope that something comes out of this, that she will sincerely apologize to the families of missing people, that she would pull a stunt like this, and maybe raise awareness so that other people won't think this is an appropriate thing to do. Because it's not. It is absolutely not appropriate when there are real lives at risk, and the resources used to search for her were taken away from investigating other crimes, from investigating other missing people. And I know, because I've spent a lot of time in the Birmingham area looking for sex trafficking victims, there are a lot of sex trafficking victims in the Birmingham area. Oh, I just lost my light. Where she is. So, I hope that this will be a wake-up call to her, and that she will use this for good. All right, I have lost my light, so I'm going to check out, and catch me on, I will generally be on YouTube Live on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if you are in Alabama and you need an estate planning lawyer, I'm here. I'm Tanya Hendricks, Huntsville Estate Planning Lawyer, and you can find me at huntsvillestateplanninklawyers.com. In the meantime, I am, as a judge would say, court is court, but this is YouTube. YouTube is in recess until Tuesday at 7 p.m. I'll see you then. Bye.